Hello and welcome to my stream. This is Angela R. Sasser, artist, writer, and crafter. I do a lot of things, and if you want to check them out, you can look at my website at angelasasser.com. Today, I'll be working on another sketch for a Patreon patron. Every month, I have a tier on my Patreon where those who have grabbed one of those limited slots request a sketch of a topic, and this month's topic for my patron was his Exalted character. His name is Sin, and he's pretty awesome. And for those who don't know Exalted, it is basically people who have been chosen by the sun to be badasses. It's a really awesome game that makes you feel super epic. I got into it a few years ago now, thanks to a friend, and I love it. It's just feel-good, empowering, kick-ass stuff, and I'm always happy to have another Exalted character on the stream, so yeah, let's do it. I like to give myself an hour for these, just so I don't get too caught up in all of the details. And, so gonna set my timer now. The timer is a go. So let's do it. Sorry, that weird sound was my Cintiq moving into place. Probably sounded really weird on the mic. And as always, if you have any questions or comments or whatnot, throw them up in the chat and I'll glance over there and look every now and again. I'll try to keep up. Sometimes when there's a lot of people, I miss a few things, so apologies if I don't see your comment. So this month I actually was going to draw one topic and then ended up with another. And Sin here, I was actually going to draw this form that you see on the left with this really cool, it's called an anima banner, and characters who are solars in this universe, when they spend enough essence, they just flare with this awesome symbolic banner of essence or magical energy. And I was gonna do that and have like kind of a Hindu god-inspired look for him. But then when I drew it, I ended up wanting to focus more on Sin, because I have to admit, I just love his tattoos. And he does also have a four-armed form that mimics his anima banner. So I ended up doing this pose here with him, looking awesome with his four arms. There's a specific name for this martial art, and I cannot remember it. It's probably something epic like Mastery of the Four Arms of the Poles of Creation or something like that. If you guys remember it, put it in the chat, because I can't. But I know he can do it, and it's awesome. Anyways, so let me get the basic colors laid in here. Chatting away my time. So, yep. I'm excited because this is the first week off that I've had in a long time. I've been like crazy busy working on things for a coloring book I've been putting together. So it's just so nice to be chill right now and enjoy life. And I'm thinking a dark background so I can really pop the glow that his arms have, since they're made of the energy. I can't remember the artist's name on this reference picture either, but I think it might be Emiboon again. I might have to ask Aiden so I could put a credit to the artist in here in the video description later. I think Sin does do Golden Janissary. I remember Aiden saying something about that. Actually, let me just collapse tabs here. Oh Lord, it feels good, y'all, to have some time off. I'm looking forward to just doing some personal pieces this week. Maybe get back to writing on my own stories. I've been writing a story about my own Exalted character and her adventures in the desert lands of creation. Tattoos. And I've neglected that story for a while, so it's about time I got back to that one. Before people forget what it's about. But life always getting in the way of that fanfiction writing. There we go, back to flats. Yeah, just writing in general is something I'd love to do more of, but it's just one of those things that my dueling muses fight it out inside of my head, and then I ended up just sitting on the couch playing video games because I'm paralyzed by the choice of do I write? Do I draw? And then what project do I write or draw on? Too many projects. Which, speaking of, are you guys working on anything fun? Feel free to put that in the chat too. I always like to hear what people are working on while they're watching my stream. Or if you're working on any cool characters you're excited to play. I changed Sin's default look a little for this. He's usually in his duster and jeans, but I put him in like sort of training clothes. Very monkish looking. Excuses to draw him shirtless, maybe. Ooh, Sandy is working on art for a NPC character for Exalted. That is cool. I need to draw Sidereal sometime, because I always get this mental image of them, since they're kind of like Heaven's admins. I don't know what you call them. Heaven's agents. And I always imagine they have like really cool hats and clothing and stuff, just because, I don't know, I put Sidereals together with fancy hats. It's just how my brain works. I gotta try drawing one sometime. Awesome. Little girl, giant scythe. I like it. I should probably draw the sidereal from our game that Clara worked with pretty closely. Clara being my Exalted characters for those who are new. She was an Eclipse, so like the business focused, bureaucracy focused type of Solar. And the sidereal that worked with our Solar crew, he hated his job at first. He was like, man, I didn't want this job, and they took me from my cushy office job in heaven and put me with you loose cannon losers in this crappy side of creation. Oops, I didn't mean to color this arm in. I got carried away. But after a while, we won our sidereal over to the gold faction. Actually, it was bronze faction, the people who don't like solars. And who knew we could just be decent people and not wreck creation? And that would win him over. All we did was like save people and try to repair all the damage our previous incarnations did. Which apparently is a rare thing for solars. We were not murder hobos. Yeah, hopefully Aiden likes that I did something a little different. So a little more about this character. Sin seems like a really fun-loving guy. I've drawn him a few times for Aiden, and he actually has a pretty storied history. So if you ever check out Rage-Halo on DeviantArt or Silhouette of Aiden on Tumblr, I'll have to put some links. But he has lots of cool art and adventures for this character. He's always doing epic things whenever I catch up with him. With the character's creator, that is. Well, I'm sure it'd be fun to catch up with Sin. We like to imagine our characters party a lot. Together. My gal likes big parties. Pants. But you know, I should just use the lasso tool. I'm so old-fashioned, I want to sit here and brush stroke everything in, when I could just sit here and use the lasso tool to make cleaner lines. Kind of old-fashioned sometimes. No, computer, I don't want to rest. I'll rest when I'm dead. Well, I'll probably rest after the stream. That is my program that tells me when I've been on the computer too long so I don't atrophy over the keyboard. It's pretty handy if you ever need something to remind you to stop working, because I get in a zone. Which is why I also set a timer, because I'll work on this forever. Let's see, I feel like he needs the pillar of light effect around him to see if I can do a quick pillar of light. Since Solar's Flare, that... Oops. No! Solar's Flare, this big pillar that makes them show up for miles. Quick recipe for cool lights, motion blur. Kind of gives this nice halo of gradation when you use it. Except now I can see where I didn't color. But it's all good because we still got 42 minutes left. Hey! Good to see you in the chat. It's so nice to have company so I don't feel insane. I keep trying to decide if this expression is too evil for Sin. Or if it's just perfect, because he seems like he could be mischievous when he wants to. Oops, wrong color. There we go. Filling in all the cracks I made pop up with that background pillar of lights. It's another reason I should probably start using the lasso to fill in lines. Okay, time for this spear. We're almost ready for the fun part. So I was thinking this week, if I can get the motivation while I'm on vacation, I'm going to sketch a character for the first time who is a fire aspect. He's this fire aspect that I created for Kalar's story, The Uncrucified, who was a mentor to her when she was a fledgling solar trying to set up her trade empire. He's like this forest bandit that sort of teaches her you can't just go in and negotiate everything. You have to be willing to fight for it too. And he's this badass guy that was inspired by Blackbeard. So he's got this epic beard and of course the whole fire theme. He's actually an outcast dragon aspect from the south. So he was born on a starless night, so they call him the Starless Dragon. And I really love that character, and I've never, ever drawn him. So it'll be fun to finally give this guy a visual, because he's so cool in my head. He shows up in the story sitting at a campfire where he's on this big throne. They take this throne everywhere they go. And the throne is draped with all the weapons and paraphernalia of people that he's defeated or robbed. But he's kind of like a good-hearted bandit, if that makes any sense. He only robs the guild. Or, not, well, yeah. He does rob the guild eventually, but before that he just kind of robs their enemies. Tries to be sort of a Robin Hood type figure when he can. But the guild kind of keeps him on a tight leash. At least at first. Of course, meeting Kalara, his fate changes a little bit. Okay, so I think we can do the fun part. Yeah. I love the silhouette of this piece. I think it works really well, especially on this card format. That's another reason I wanted to do this, because my original pitch for this month was to do Sin with his big anima banner around him and Sin in the middle of it doing a cool dynamic pose, but I like focusing more on Sin this time around than shrinking him in the picture. Again, I just wanted to draw like muscles and tats, so you know. Wanted to feature all that loveliness. But now the fun part is just bringing back, basically cleaning up this line art and making it much more readable. Oh no, I can't draw Ray next time. Sadness. I want to draw the floof. Maybe next time, though. Floof. Oops. Oh, can't draw a straight line today. Her tail is just fun and floofy. It's just fun to draw, and it's a really cool texture to have in a piece too. I think that's why people like that particular aspect. Or maybe we're just a bunch of furries, I don't know. We're almost to the halfway point. 31 minutes. Gotta bring back these muscles. Oh, she uses the tail as a blanket and wraps it around people she likes. That's adorable. And also very handy in winter. It's finally getting cold here in Georgia, and by cold I mean like 60s Fahrenheit. Because Georgians can't handle cold. And I'm totally acclimated here. I'm already wearing sweaters and like shivering. I need some tail floof. See, at least you guys would probably get the payoff of snow. Like, snow just doesn't happen here. We get mush and sleet and dangerous road conditions, and when we do get snow, it shuts down the state because we don't have the street equipment here to clean up the roads, so the roads get really slick and dangerous. So we call it snowpocalypse whenever it does happen. It's terrible. One year my husband got trapped in his car on the highway for 3 hours. And mind you, he was only a 3-minute drive from work, and he got trapped on the road for 3 hours. It was awful. And that's just because they didn't want to let people off early. So when they finally closed down, you know, the schools and the roads and stuff, they're like, yeah, y'all are at work, go home now. So the roads got really congested with people trying to make it home ahead of this big winter storm that was coming through. So yeah, awful. Nobody has snow tires either. We're just very ill-equipped. But I mean, it never snows here, so we just have no reason to invest in it otherwise. Can I draw hands today? Sorta. Sometimes my brain just forgets hands. If I had a little longer, I'd probably sit here and map these hands out a little better. This hair is doing weird things, so we're gonna have it end sooner. probably get really quiet here while I'm working on the face. Takes up my brain power. Plus, this handsome grin deserves all the attention. Oh yeah, Demi, I loved the collab pic that you did. I was so happy to have Kalara involved. You should, if you have a link to that, I'm not sure how you can share it in the chat. If you can link to it somehow, that would be really cool so people can go and appreciate it. It's basically a group pic that was commissioned by Illidan in the chat. It was super cool. Kalara is my towering business beauty. In fact, I hope I can get in on more of those like group pictures. I might not do the big one that's been talked about on the other group server since I'm kind of tight on cash. Got those medical bills for my husband to take care of at the moment. But at some point in the future, I'm totally going to get in on that because I love it. I think the community pictures are so much fun. So maybe next year if it's done again. Hey, Mistress, it's good to see you in the chat again. Oh no, motherboards failing are the worst. Hopefully it did not take out any other computer parts with it. Alright, time to bring in some hair strands so he has more than just a hair blob. I went quiet again because Sin's hair took up all my brain power again. Or just hair must draw the lines. It's usually when I don't have my mic on because I'm terrible at continuing to talk sometimes, especially when I start on those detailed areas. But yeah, thinking about all the fun stuff I could do while I'm on vacation. NaNoWriMo's going on. It's National Novel Writing Month, for those who don't know about it. I'm kind of hyped to maybe work on something for that, or try to just use it as an excuse to start writing again, since I really miss writing. And also there's Sketchovember, which is where you just draw something every day, and you're just using it as an excuse to start good habits. So I might try to do both, since I need to learn how to sketch like this again. Like, I'm so used to just focusing on those big paintings that I pour my everything into, and I don't, outside of doing these for you guys, I don't actually sketch for myself. And I find that being able to play and sketch is actually really important to keeping your creativity fresh and keeping your mind fresh too. Like, it's easy to get burnt out on things if you are always focusing on how you can draw that next big, huge, humongous, life-changing piece of art. So I think getting back into both sketching and writing would be really healthy for me. I want to do it, and I need to stop talking about doing it and actually do it. Mistrich, have you heard of Camp NaNoWriMo? It is a little different than NaNoWriMo in that it's for any kind of creative project instead of words, like a project that's requires 50k words, since that's what you're doing for NaNoWriMo. But like Camp NaNoWriMo, you can put in a goal of anything. Like, you can work on 3 hours a day on a creative project that's not writing. Like, you can set your goal to do a sketch or work a certain amount of time. And I really love that event even more than Nano, because it's so flexible. And that happens April, July. I'm sure it's another month too, but if you check out campnanowrimo.com, it's like a fantastic way to get jumpstart of creativity and get yourself sketching every day. That community pressure really helps me. My problem with writing is that I have these grandiose, epic ideas, so I'll start them and I'll just never finish them. I just don't have the stamina usually to take that long, epic into completion. I think The Uncrucified is the farthest I've gotten with any big story, really. And I've got like I haven't counted the pages in a while, but I know on the sequel story to it I've got like 35 pages written. And then the other draft was finished, but then I'm rewriting it as in more of a switching from like first person to third person, so it's more like a traditional novel. That's my other problem. I rewrite everything 1,000 times and then never finish. But you know, you gotta start somewhere. One of my friends who was a novelist was just telling me, you know, if you can just get like an hour or two a day of writing in, you'll end up with a novel in like a year. You just have to get that writing in. Well, you end up with a draft of a novel in like a year. And it all adds up. Okay, he's got kind of like thick Dragon Ball Z neck going on. Make that a little thinner. My Dragon Ball Z roots are showing. I used to draw so much Dragon Ball Z fan art, and I think it has affected my anatomy forever. And his hair is a little too dark, so we're gonna lighten that. There we go, now he's looking like a blonde. Ninja pants. Okay, we're getting down to the wire. sunshine arms. Though honestly, probably for the first part of my time off, I'm just gonna like stare at video games because, oh my gosh, I've been working so hard. My brain needs to not think for a while, and video games are perfect. Like I would just beat Resident Evil this weekend, and that was a lot of fun. I'm proud of myself for even being able to play that one because it's so nerve-wracking and scary. But I actually love horror games. And that was one of the coolest looking horror games to come out lately. And I'll probably end up playing, like, what's it called? Prey? Yes, Prey, the one that's in space. Because I love me some space horror. I've got a lot of good books to read too. Like, well, what comics did I get? A bunch of comics. And then I've got the rest of the Rebels of the Sands trilogy to read, which is a really awesome, like, desert fantasy, sort of Middle Eastern inspired, but with steampunk elements. It's very, very, like, I'm using it as Exalted inspiration for Kalar since she's a gunslinger from the south. So a lot of the imagery takes directly from, in that novel, takes directly from, like, Arab fairy tales and stuff. It's pretty cool. Like Djinn and stuff. But also the main character is a gunslinging girl. So I'm totally cool with that. And I read the first novel and I really need to read the rest because I enjoyed the first one so much. I bought them all a long time ago and haven't had time to read them. I might have to do a little book club on that one if anyone wants to read that with me online, like maybe with my Patreon patrons or something. It'd be fun to be encouraged to read more, because otherwise I just get so busy and then I just don't read. And you know, you gotta feed your muse. Ooh, what is Six Gun Mage? You should link it in the chat so I can look at that later. I'm always in the mood for more Eastern fantasy stuff. And gunslingers. And gunslinger girls. Especially gunslinger girls. Okay, I should probably, like, try to do some shading. Because I'm running low on time. Oh no, I have 2 minutes! Oh no! The name of the novel was Rebel of the Sands, and there's 3 of them, and I can't remember the other 2, but the first book in the trilogy is Rebel of the Sands, and it's pretty cool. It's considered YA, but stick with it. It has some of the YA elements, but it's still pretty cool. I highly recommend it, and I believe the author's name is Alwyn Hamilton. No, timer. I don't stop. I'm gonna work a little more on this one because I want to get a little more going on this. Ooh, I can't wait to look at that link later. Yeah, Gunslingers. Trying to do this funky backlighting. We'll see if I can make it work. And of course this isn't Sin without the tattoos, so I gotta bring those back in too. Morsels. I need to stop drawing the morsels and actually draw the tattoos. Okay, alright, I'm gonna stop. Gonna make the tats, which I believe I sketched already. All they need is a little cleanup. Ah, see now it's sin. And y'all know that I can never stop working on a piece until I've got the sexy highlight stage. Sexy highlights, here we come. Also a chance to make him look all glowy and awesome. Get some of that light blooming here in the highlights. They're so yellow. There we go, that's a little better. Couldn't resist a little color in this one. Especially since Aiden has been so patient, I've been really slow. Like, this is an October sketch, but it's already into November. So I really appreciate you guys being super patient with my slow pace while I've been trying to catch up on life. Kickstarter is no joke, y'all. If you ever run one, expect for all the things to happen. And like, I mean, not that it's been so bad, but it's more like real life stuff getting in the way of professional stuff. But you know, sometimes life happens and you kind of have to take care of that first before you can do other things. So I really appreciate the patience with my slow pace. You guys have been awesome. You are the bestest Patreon patrons. And if you're not a Patreon patron in here, I still love you. I appreciate everybody tuning in here on my budding little art channel. I'm hoping at some point I'll be able to actually do more videos and streams and whatnot. I've got all the ideas, I just need more time to put them together. I think I need one more level of shadow in this before I'm satisfied. I appreciate the sentiment, Mistrich. And anyone else who's tuning in, don't worry. I understand life comes first before being able to put your money into luxury things. And plus, just appreciating art is also very awesome. Like, share, appreciate the art if you like an artist. Hit that share button and share it with all the other people. Let an artist know, like, sometimes it's nice to just hear that from people when we're having a bad day and it feels like we're throwing our art into the void of the internet where it disappears. It's nice to know that that art affects somebody and brings them joy. So thank you for saying that you love my art, Mistrich. That is also very much appreciated. Zoom out a little so I can get a better idea of where I want these shadows to be. Oh hey, awesome! I am happy to hear that you're auto-hosting me. That is such a cool new, well, it's not quite new anymore, but it's a cool feature that they've added on Twitch where you can, when you're not streaming, you can tell it to stream somebody else. That's pretty cool. Hey, every little bit helps, man. Oh, I'm entrapped in the mussels again. Gotta get in on this face too. Okay, one last level of highlighting here. Just gotta bring that solar sheen to the hair. That glamorous solar sheen. Powered by the sun. cheating with some rim lighting. Just to pop out some of the shapes here that are getting lost. If I had more time, I would blend this a bit better. The rim light, that is. But still keeping this at sketch level, although it's starting to progress more in that. So I think I can lay in my favorite texture layers here. Put in some finishing touches. That's true. I might have to like revert it to black and white to do a black and white one for Aiden if he might end up coloring it. That'd be fun. Okay, there we go. It's like trying to isolate the layer with the foreground figure so I can clip this texture to it and sort of alter the color temperature of it so it has some temperature contrast from the background. Too many layers. Alright. There we go. Though I seem to have lost his, the detail on the wrapping here, so I'm going to punch those up just a little bit before I call it quits. And punching up the contrast just a little too. I know I'm supremely bad about labeling the layers, especially when I'm working fast like this. I just want to knock the important bits out without having to worry about naming my layers, but I gotta get better about that. But you know, I think he's done. And I really hope Aiden likes it. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh gosh, let's see how many. If we're counting adjustment layers here, let's see how many I got. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I don't count the background layers, so 17. Yeah, I totally went beyond 15, but you know. That's actually a low number for me. I've gone up to about, I'm probably sure I've gone up past 40 layers. But just because I had a lot of like complicated elements that needed repeating, like candles that I don't want to draw over again, or lace trim, stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Maybe during vacation this week I'll hop on and just do some freeform stuff, or I'll vegetate on the couch playing video games. So you know, it's a gamble. I'm sure I'll be back again to do the next batch of Patreon sketches for folks, so if you want to get in on that sketch action, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Angela Sasser, or if you just want to pitch in and help an artist out with bills, that is a great way to do that. Either way, I appreciate your support and for tuning in. It's always nice to have people here so I don't feel so alone. So, you guys take care, and I'll catch you next time. And again, that's angelasasser.com for more art if you want to look at more stuff. And I'm out. You guys have a good evening, and I'll catch you next time.